DC's #1 recording studio.
All right. Welcome to the Swerve Show.
What's up?
Oh, hi.
It is Wednesday.
Hi.
Get closer, Racing. Get closer.
I don't want to get closer to you.
Because the cameras,
They say gay rubs on.
Hello. Love that T-shirt.
Don't you love it? This is the same gender love T-shirt. It's a company out of Baltimore.
Ooh.
Marvelous Marva.
Wait a minute. Did you
Marvelous Marva Productions.
Wait a minute. Did you get paid and we didn't get paid? You need to turn your microphone.
Did you hear that?
Right.
Isn't it wonderful? It's a lovely, affirming shirt. I love it. I didn't get paid, but we're going to get paid.
Okay, let's keep it moving. So we want to welcome you. Today is Wednesday, May 23rd.
Yes.
And this is DC Black Pride weekend.
Yes,
so
it is.
We
Hi,
are excited.
L Train.
Hey, L, what's going on? We
What's
got to bring
up,
you
L?
on.
Everybody
Happy
Facebook
birthday.
Live.
Okay, stop screaming. There we go. Okay. All right. So we want to, of course, we have our wonderful co-host here with me. I have Yarde Noir, our editor at large.
Hey.
All right. Hi, Yarde. And we've got the legendary Racine Pendovis. Come on, get closer.
Hi, I don't want to get closer to you.
Okay.
Because I might fall off my seat. I'm perched.
All right. So we want to touch base with our co-host to see what's going on with you. What's going on with you, Yarde?
Nothing new.
Nothing
Hi,
new?
Darnell.
Nothing new yet.
Hi, Jasmine Blue.
Okay. Hey, Jasmine. Nothing new. Okay.
Nothing new yet.
Racine, what's going on with you?
Everything. Where did we begin? We just closed.
The question
up.
is, where do we end?
Okay, we just finished. May is Trans Month, all about May. We're
That
coming
was
to a
wonderful.
close.
I went to one
It was
event.
a wonderful event. I just hosted Trans Pride, Capital Trans Pride. It was a wonderful event. It was amazing. It was full of workshops. We're going into Black Pride, then following that, then we're going to Capital Pride. I will be hosting the Capital Pride parade. I will be.
You're hosting the parade.
I will be doing commentary.
You know,
So
Ashley
I'm so
and
excited.
Ryan are coming on our show the 30th.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes,
I'm
we
so
booked them at
excited.
30th,
I'm
right.
so
Truly excited. I'm
Also,
a
of
former.
course, I would do it. I like to welcome everyone to the Ask Racine Show Wednesday.
And we have an
June
image for
6th.
that. Don't we have an image for the S Racing show? I think it's number 2. We haven't gone to number 1 first.
Oh, Wednesday,
Yes,
June
look at that.
6th at HRC. It's our comedy showcase.
Oh.
And our listening lounge with live music artists.
Who's
our
the
burlesque.
comedian?
Oh, we have an all-star lineup.
Okay.
And featuring improv imps, Anthony Oakes, Lady Chocolate, an
So
amazing.
we can come up and tell our dirty jokes, right?
Yes, honey. DJ
I got 2
Suspense is our
jokes.
DJ. He's amazing.
Okay.
Gigi Holiday is our burlesque performer. The amazing lady Cecily is in the listening lounge. We have just going to be phenomenal.
Okay, so we got to make sure we make
Zar,
that.
our
And
project manager.
June 6th, right?
Yes,
Okay.
June 6th.
I want to
Hey,
show
Zar.
the image for our May-June issue, which should have hit the presses. We've been getting great reviews and feedback on Mustang Story, as well as the Q&A with Chad Griffin.
That was amazing.
The president of HRC. And of course, your column, Racine, which I haven't really started to push out yet digitally, but it's very timely. Your piece on There Goes the Neighborhood. Can you give us a quick sort of snippet of description of what that is?
It talks about the disappearing of primarily all of our LGBT communities across the country, and how, even with gentrification, the LGBTQ community is being affected.
Amen. Gotcha. All right. So catch that. Make sure you pick up an issue. It should be at all the locations around the country. So let's get it started. We've got a few news items to hit. One that I'm very proud of. I think I had something to do with it. I put the juju in there, but Stacey Abrams, who is running for the governor of Georgia, she won the Democratic primary.
Okay.
Hallelujah. All right,
We have been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks. We are
I'm so
extremely
proud.
excited. And when it came across my news feed, I thought first person I thought about was Jamil. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be happy.
We won that.
So-
So this is the deal, y'all. She won 75%.
Wow.
of the vote. She won by 50
Wow.
50
That's
percentage
amazing.
points. Now the Republicans have a runoff in July to determine who's going to run against her, and of course, election day is November 6th. So we will be pushing this out.
Yes.
So send some money to her. She's going to need a lot of money to buy a lot of ads down
Amen.
there. The Get Out the Vote initiative. This can happen, y'all. We can turn Georgia blue. It's just the beginning of it.
It's
Okay.
gonna be amazing.
All
Hi
right.
to everybody following us in Facebook land.
please
We
follow us.
appreciate
Please
you.
follow and share.
Hi, Nate.
All
Like
right.
and
And
share.
Bishop Williams just joined us. Bishop Abrams' wife.
Oh, okay.
She just joined us in Facebook
Hi,
land.
Diana. Yes. So we want to acknowledge we got two very special guests on the show today. We have Bishop Allison Abrams with us, as well as Pastor Darren Phelps, and we'll get a chance to talk with them later. They're hosting a great event during Pride Praise this Sunday. And then we want to talk about the whole affirming church movement. I don't know if you recall back in, what is this?
I think it was
November, December, we
Yeah.
did a very special issue featuring the story of Bishop Flunder, Yvette Flunder, and it was a spiritual issue that was edited by our guest editor was Reverend Kevin Taylor from right, and so this was a great issue, and we'll talk about that later. So let's move on. We had another event that happened. There were two trans women murdered in the same week. I think it was last week in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
And we know there's been, the media really hasn't covered this. I think one of them may have been a trans woman of color, but there's still this overarching violence. This plague against trans women, specifically trans women of color around the country, and no one's really talking about it
because they're of color. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a world where if she is not blonde and her name is not Susan, unfortunately, Aisha, Jaquan are not going to get the media coverage that we should, and it's unfortunate and it's sad because every time someone loses their life, that's someone's child, that's someone's mother, someone's father, that's a life. And it shouldn't be about color. It should be about coming together. But unfortunately, whenever trans women of color, it largely go unnoticed.
And it's an issue that we're going to explore even further. We've talked with a couple people. I want to make sure we get the story flushed out, and we're going to share that in an upcoming issues where. All right, so another issue, we've got homophobia at Waffle House.
Bam!
So the
Here we go.
individual, I think we have an image for that. The individual. Anthony Wall, I think is the gentleman's name. He was the individual that was being choked by the policeman.
Yes,
the whole
yeah.
incident was initiated by some homophobic comments that were made by the Waffle House staff.
Really?
And see, and
Yes.
and that has
I
not
didn't know
gotten
that.
out.
I didn't know
That has
that.
not gotten out. I just
All I
got
know
that
is-
story 2 days ago.
I just seen the picture of them having him choked up. They had his
Right.
literally the officer had his arm up in his throat and had him literally
Oh yeah,
up
and then he tore
in the window off the
Then he tore him
ground.
off on the ground all
Yeah.
over. The Waffle House staff called the police.
But but this
and he was out with his sister.
He took his
her
sister to prom.
Yeah,
He was in a prom tuxedo.
that was terrible. So I
But
saw
this
them
is
on
not the
Al
first time
Sharpton
that
show.
we've had issues with the Waffle House because there was another young lady who they wrestled her all the way down because she had asked for. They wanted her to pay 50 cents for a plastic fork and knife after she had just purchased some food.
Oh, wow.
And they
she was
exposed
asking
her breast.
questions, right? And they
They
tackled
exposed
her
her breast.
breast
They were
all
and
male-
exposed her
all
breast.
male
Police
officers.
did it. Yeah.
So clearly Waffle House has some explaining to do. And given that he has Ben Crump as an attorney, of course he was on Al Sharpton show, the cash registers get ready to start.
Oh, you
ringing.
know.
Shilling-a-ling-a-ling. Shut-ching.
It's getting ready to start ringing.
I'm going to the Waffle House tomorrow.
Consequences about to be paid. Right. It's
If
gonna
they
be
throwing children down to the ground, I'm gonna let them throw me.
Just make sure you got a video.
I'm gonna tell my girlfriend
You got your phones out.
And to everybody follows, hi Anthony,
and give
hi
Ben Crump, and then give
Jonathan.
Ben Crump.
Hi,
out there,
Damien.
right.
Hi, Savannah.
Hi,
By the way,
Savannah.
Savannah, great event.
Oh,
great
hats
job
off-
this past week.
Hats off to Savannah. She did a great job
And
with
to the entire
with
staff
Mayor's
of
Trans.
Trans
It was a
Pride.
wonderful
Yes,
event.
yes.
And we're going to run some images of that event. in the July issue. Okay, let's keep it moving. We've got one other event. TV producer Kenya Barris, he donated $1 million to Clark Atlanta University. I think we have an image of do we have an image of him? Number 5. Oh, it didn't work? Okay, don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
Okay.
He's a gentleman that he's behind Blackish and some others.
Gotcha.
He's a Clark Atlanta graduate. I'm a Clark Atlanta graduate. I did my MBA there, so I saw that.
You don't ever
And I
rep
thought-
them. You always rep Howard.
Well, because Howard is the Mecca. I mean,
It is.
there's just no other way to put
It is.
that.
No shade. No, if you have to mention HBCs, no shade. No
But Clark
reason.
was great. I had a
Howard
great
is the
experience at Clark Atlanta.
How,
so-
Even
Howard,
though I love all the other HBCs, it's just something.
well, it is. I mean, I'm not taking away from it. I just never heard you talk about.
Oh,
Clark.
yeah, I
That's
did-
why I
I
said
did
that.
2 years
I mean,
there.
Howard is considered the Ivy League of the HBCUs.
Oh no, there's no. I understand what you're saying.
Hampton University
Ivy
would have a
League,
challenge with you
I mean-
saying that. I just want to let you
I mean,
know.
Ivy League is a whole different thing. Howard is an entity of its own. So we've got problems, but we still are.
We're gonna
great.
give you
But
that.
let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Yes,
okay.
hi G,
So
Gibson,
now we're gonna
hi
go.
Rod, clever.
Now we're gonna go to
Hey,
our
Rod.
we're gonna go to our what's hot section.
Oh, before we go to what's hot, I'd just like to say that have you noticed there's a theme that we try to do that sets us apart all the other shows here? We all wear shirts that have themes and talk about
Okay.
things. What's your shirt?
Oh,
theme
B.
today?
Slade, the wonderful B. Slade. I got this the last time he was here. He's one of my favorite artists.
I love B.
So
Slade.
if anyone has a shirt or a company that you would like us to represent, and if you don't have any money to sponsor
For the right fee.
or a coin, please send us a shirt, a T-shirt. I wear extra large,
let me
I'm a
say.
medium. I'm
So-
a medium.
XX large.
Athletic
Since
cut.
we,
Athletic cut.
so Racine is rocking Same Gender Love, which
Right.
is by Marvelous Marva Productions. You have on B. Slade
Slade,
shirt.
B. Slade.
And I have been rocking green for the entire month of May. I'll have on
Because?
green next week.
Why you wearing green?
Because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Gotcha.
And so the color is green. So I have committed to wearing green on the show for every day this month. Jacob, can you post the yes.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Here is if you are battling some form of depression or you need to talk to someone, this is a great line. This is the suicide prevention
Real
line.
talk,
It is
y'all.
1-800-273-TALK. Or you can go onto the website. I am very adamant about this. I am a person who deal with mental health challenges. I've suffered with depression over the years.
But you got us, dude.
And I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I currently take an antidepressant, and it has been phenomenal. That, along with my therapist, has been amazing. And so I make sure that everywhere I go, I talk about mental health awareness.
What you need to do is you just need to call me and we need to take you out to Meatloaf on Saturdays and that'll help.
I'm already
alleviate some of that. No. That's not what Meatloaf is.
He's
Meatloaf
talking about
is
the
strippers
stripper.
Oh.
on Saturday. And
Child.
that'll help manage
I could
some
just
of
look
that.
at Tumblr.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so let's go to
Let's go.
let's go to the what's hot section. All right.
Hey,
So
Tamisha.
we've got the British royal wedding and how so black it was. Okay, we got a number of pictures. So here we
Yes.
go. Look at this image. This
Okay,
is
so
great.
before we go, I want to give descriptions. Okay, so her gown is by Givenchy.
Ooh, wonderful.
And it was designed by a female. Her name was Claire Waite Keller. And she said that she wanted something. Megan said that she wanted something that was classic.
Okay.
That was timeless. If you
like
look
the
at the
mint green
veil,
touch.
the veil was like 16 feet long or something like that. But if you look at the veil, around the veil, there are embroidered
these
flowers,
flowers.
which represent, I think,
the
different-
countries they colonized.
shade. But it represented. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it was the.
That's what it was. It was.
Is it?
It was representative of the colonies.
And you know
Okay.
what?
These
And-
are the
and
countries
if
we
you notice,
colonized over the years.
I want you to notice the earrings that she's wearing.
Can we go back?
I sent them to her because I couldn't get there. And
You know
I
what?
sent them to those were my great grandmother earrings, and I sent them to her. See, they're beautiful. And I,
from your days on stage.
yes,
Okay.
my great grandmother.
But you know what? Can we go back? I just want to talk about how beautiful her mother is. Can you scroll over to
Oh,
her
the mom was beautiful.
We love y'all.
Yes.
I'm
When I
trying to
tell
add
you that
everybody.
I was so in love that she had her nose ring and her locks, baby,
She
I had
the
got
note- I
all
thought
my
that-
life.
It's very modern.
And when they had came out and they kissed and they walked down the steps and she stood next to Prince Charles, And he leaned over just to make sure she was good. I just was like loving.
You know
all
what
of
I
that.
loved about it? I felt like I was at a Kojic convention. It was the most.
Let's show.
We get ready to go there.
We got some other images, so we
Baby,
got other.
yes.
Let's show the other. So what was it?
Okay, I got his name. I got his name.
He was great.
Yes.
And I didn't know what to expect from it. So when I saw him come on, I was like, this is a very like a black church event.
His name is Bishop Michael Curry. Okay. He is the first black presiding Episcopal bishop, and he's from Chicago.
Okay, and he was great.
His sermon was amazing.
It was amazing. It kind of threw me for a loop because I was like, am I right watching the right program?
I had got all of my life watching their faces.
All right, what other image we had next? That's right. Oh man, he was. They didn't show him, but I saw this on video. He was great. This is a young celloist. You see him
I saw him
on TV?
On television.
Oh, okay.
So he is, his name is Sekou Kane Mason. He's from Nottingham.
Oh, I went out.
And he was young,
He
right?
has 6 brothers and sisters. All of them are musicians.
Okay.
And he got a personal phone call from Megan. She saw him on Britain's Got Talent, and she thought that he was absolutely amazing and gave him a personal phone call and personally invited him herself.
Oh, he was great.
Hey, Jacob.
What other image we got? What we got?
The choir. The Kingdom Choir.
Oh, they were great.
Baby.
I only heard one. Did they do 2 tunes? Because I only heard 1 tune.
No, they just did Stand By Me.
Yeah, Stand By Me was great.
But that arrangement was everything.
It was. What's going on, Racine? What's wrong?
Not that we're fine.
Okay.
We got
All
it together.
right.
The devil.
Oh my goodness, they were great. Next image. What do we have?
Oh, right. So
is that Miss Torres?
Yes, this is Gina Torres. She is wearing. I cannot pronounce the name of this designer.
Well, who cares what she's wearing?
Costarellas.
Because she and Megan were. They were cast members. They were cast members on that show. Suits, right? Yeah.
Can I tell you that I was evil with you that you didn't post the other picture of all the other 3 girls, baby? When I told
I didn't know who they were. But come on, let's
they're
go.
all actresses from Suits. And when I tell you they came through and they broke it all the way, they was like, this is my girl. We here. They came up was like,
everybody looked at. Of course, Serena. Now,
yes.
That's when I perked up. I said, I had to go get me some coffee when I saw Serena.
Serena looked absolutely amazing. She was rocking Versace. This is a Versace dress.
We didn't show the braids. The braids came all the way down to her waist.
The hat is Philip Tracy. And as you said, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal, her hair was cornrowed into small mini cornrows into a ponytail, and the ponytail came all the way down to her butt. When I tell you that I had never been so proud.
Yeah, Serena looked great. Okay, and I think we got a couple other
and
images.
pastel pink.
Oh, of course. Well,
okay. So let's
Idris
start
Elba.
with Oprah first.
So Oprah had, I understand, she had a white dress.
No, it was beige.
Okay.
And she had decided that it probably would be too close to white, so she had Stella McCarthy. The whole team literally was up all night the night before, finishing up her dress.
Really?
And her hat, which I clocked. Her hat is.
I've seen that before.
Her hat is a Philip Tracy, and this is the same hat that she wore during the Legends Ball at the.
I told everybody.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, "That's the same hat from the Legends Ball."
Now, was Derek there? I know Derek had to be there.
And it's actually vintage. It's a vintage Philip Tracy hat. She wore it at the Legends Ball at the
I remember because I was sitting next to her at the Sunday brunch.
All right, fierce. Okay, did we have any other images there for that? Oh no, not yet.
Oh, no, not yet.
Back that up. Okay, all right.
That's everything.
So that was a royal wedding. You know, the fact that it was so black, I think it kind of made a statement. I didn't know what to expect from her. I didn't know how connected she was.
We need to go back.
Blackness.
Can you pull that picture back up with Oprah? Because I need to talk about how
Idris
horrible
Elba.
Idris Elba. Okay, so this was Gucci. However,
Yeah, what is that? A sweater dress?
This is the prime.
But she's beautiful.
I don't care. This is the prime example. I don't care.
Hi, Kevin.
I don't care. This is the prime example of wearing a label does not always look good. This is a hot, ratchet mess that you're gonna wear. You're gonna wear a sweater dress to the royal wedding.
But she's with Idris Elba,
and he's beautiful, and he should. And I should have went with him.
Yeah, I mean, I mean,
but no shade. Let me say.
How did you go wrong?
Let me
with
say,
Idris
if I had to
Elba?
pick my winner, grand prize was the one who was her girlfriend who was on the show, who wore the fabulous dress with the fringes all the way down to the floor,
yes.
who made the grandest entrance.
We didn't show that one.
Yes,
10,000 stars.
And I just want to talk. Her name was Janae. I forgot. I saw on my Facebook page. She had broke it up so bad for me. I had to find out who she was. The backstory, we don't have the picture, but the backstory, she's the one who had on a coral. The backstory is that she couldn't find a designer to dress her. So what she did was she got the people from the costume department to pull her an ensemble from the costume department and broke it completely up.
All right.
I got my life.
All right, y'all. All right, so that was the royal wedding. It was great. It's on YouTube, I'm sure. So if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out because it was a memorable
the blackest thing
event
that we have seen from the royal family ever.
Right, pretty much. Okay, so what do we have next? We've got Tasha Long wins Miss Gay US of A Classic 2018.
Yes.
All right.
When I tell you,
breathtaking.
I need for everybody.
That gown
I
is
think it
awesome.
is so imperative that everybody who knows me knows that I'm a pageant head. I want people to know this year at US of A Classic, it was sickening because all top three were black, and they were all black legends from the pageant community. So the second runner-up was Calexis Davenport from Texas. If anybody knows, if you know Texas, you know Calexis. Deja Richards, who is from New York. She was the first runner-up. And Tasha Long. And the queen that was given up, thank you, L Train. The queen that was given up was Dominique Sanchez, who was also African-American. Okay. And we crowned Tasha Long. For those of you who probably don't know who Tasha Long is.
We have another image of Tasha, don't we?
Yes, this is the crowning. Okay, so to the left, Tasha's in the middle. To the left of Tasha is Calexis Davenport. She is from Texas. To the right of to the right is Deja Richards. She's from New York. And in the red, white, and blue, that is Dominique Sanchez. She was giving up the title.
Is that you right there? No, that's not you.
No, that's not me.
Okay, right.
I wasn't there.
I mean, and you got sassy.
So I do want to give history. Can we go back to the other gown? Okay, I just want, because I want her to be center stage. I want people to know Tasha Long is known as the woman of many faces. She does many characters. She does Whoopi Goldberg. She does Whitney Houston, Tina Turner. Yes, Whoopi Goldberg, Tina Turner, Mary J. Blige, Diana Ross. That's just a few. She does a lot.
So she's flexible.
She is one of the most decorated national title holders in the pageant world. She is a former Miss Black America from 1991, former Miss Black Universe 1994, former Miss National 1995, former Miss Continental 1997, former Florida FFI 2002. She was a former Miss Renaissance 2009. She was the first runner-up to Continental Elite in 2013 and first runner-up to US of A Classic in 2016. And then she came back this year and captured.
Oh my goodness! So she's just
US
won.
of A
She just won just about everything.
Classic, yes, God.
Okay.
She's amazing.
So we need
and one of the most sweetest and humble.
Oh my God!
We need images.
And her Dionne Warwick is no joke.
All right. Okay.
And I had an opportunity to sit and talk to her one year at Continental. She is the sweetest person under the sun and so humble.
All right.
And so I just wanted to say congratulations to her.
Congratulations, Tasha.
I know this was something that she really, really wanted.
Congratulations.
Great.
Well deserved. And we'll do more on that.
DC has just joined us on Facebook Live.
Oh, good. So now we want to move to another item. Jules Catch One. There's a great documentary out. I know I've seen it, and now Ava DuVernay's company is distributing it now,
It's
so it's going to get more exposure. So
and it's on Netflix, right?
Can we run that clip? Can we run that clip, Jacob?
The Catch offered a place where any and everybody could come. The guys used to talk always about going out and catching one. That meant that they were going to go out on the prowl and try to pick somebody up, and that's how the name Catch One came into being. The Catch was important because at the time that we opened, there was still an abundance of racism.
They tried to burn her out when they tried to buy her out, but Jewel is my hero.
Not only was she poor, not only was she a woman, she was a lesbian, and on top of that, a black woman.
People of different lifestyles were actually ordinance against activities of same-sex dancing, of dressing in transgender clothes.
The Catch One became a haven. call and ask me what kind of club it is. And when it comes to sexuality, it's for gays, lesbians, bis, tris, and otherwise.
Yes.
All right, so that's in theaters, and I think it does have Netflix
I think
as
it's
well.
on Netflix also.
All right, so definitely check it out. You know, we profiled Jules a couple years ago. I think that when they did, it was a major anniversary,
yeah.
and we profiled her. So, and I understand that club is closed now. So, I mean, she went through a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, she fought. They did everything to move her out. They burned her down once. The cops would harass people coming in and out of the place, and she survived.
And she did survive. But what I loved about it was people who know that area know what Jules did, how she set up a clinic, how she did a lot of stuff around holistic healing.
Right, she's a great healer,
and
right.
She's an amazing person who really, really advocates for the whole holistic appeal to healing the mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. So let's keep it moving. All right, so we've got a great musical spotlight. I just became aware of this young lady. She's a trans female artist. Her album drops in, I think, late June. Her name is Shay Diamond. She's got a great story, and she's like an R&B, sort of rock, bluesy type artist. So let's run the video. It's Shay Diamond doing Keisha Complexion.
Would you just look at me? Look at me. Got me feeling like I'm on TV. Would you look at me? Just look at me. Just look at me. Don't look at me.
Well, I'm sexy, I'm cool, but you're taking me back to school. I'm yearning, I'm burning, you're learning me something new. So please forgive me for clutching my pearls, and please forgive me for fanning my face, and I forgive you for fucking up my world. It's so hot in this place. Look at my cheeks like apples, and I'm breaking a sweat. Got my heart beating faster, but I'll never regret you. 'Cause it's worth it, so long. I never felt like this. Yeah, with just one kiss. Ooh, you got me so bashful, baby, huh? You got me so bashful, baby, huh? You got me so bashful, baby. It's funny how fast my skirt came off of my ass. If you knew me, you'd guess I've never been so unabashed. When you say you love my Keisha complexion, in a way I ain't never respected. Got me admiring my own reflection. It's so hot in this place. Look at my cheeks like apples, and I'm breaking a sweat. Got my heart beating faster, but I'll never regret you. 'Cause it's worth it, so long. I never felt like this. Yeah, with just one kiss. Ooh, you got me so bashful, baby, huh? You got me so bashful, baby, huh? You know you really love that Keisha complexion. 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 Look at my cheeks like apples, and I'm breaking a sweat. Got my heart beating faster, but I'll never regret you. 'Cause it's worth it, so long. I never felt like this. Yeah, with just one kiss. Ooh, you got me so bashful, baby. You got me so bashful, baby, huh? You got me so bashful, baby. You got me so bashful, baby, huh?
All right. That was
That's
nice.
what's up.
All right.
Want to
Shay
give a couple
Diamond.
of shout outs. Hey, Ma, how are you? My mother's online.
Hey, Mom.
Bianca, Albert, Jasmine Hall from California. I'm so glad that you're on. DK, I'm sorry. DK. My cousin Martha. We have a whole bunch of people on. We thank you for
everybody
joining. Like and share.
Please like and share. We're a community property.
Like and share, everybody.
So we've got our guest with us now. So we want to welcome Bishop Allison Abrams
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
of Empowerment Liberation Cathedral. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir, you did.
Okay, and then we've got Pastor Darren Phelps from Bethel Christian Church, D.C.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
All right. The spirit is in the air tonight. Isn't it? All right. And so we wanted to bring the folks on because, Bishop Abrams reached out to me about a great event that they're doing as a part of Pride. And I've been complaining that Pride has become less about community and more about a party.
Absolutely.
And I'm great to see that we've got this opportunity to build the faith within our community and celebrate and uplift that. So can you tell us about that event?
Let me say, Jamil, what really motivated me to, accept the charge to put this program together was that a few years back, I heard some people say, well, they are church-going persons, they're people of faith, but when they come to Pride, they really don't attend any service of any type unless they make it a decision within themselves to go and visit a church. But what is the Black Pride doing to bring people together? And so when Earl Folks' his office asked me to, spearhead this, I said, well, we want to make sure that we're inclusive and we're bringing the community together. And so I want to share with you some of the people that we do have.
Yes, I saw the flyer. Everybody, I said, well, who's not coming?
And so, right.
I said, the only people not preaching is me and Racine.
Oh,
Well, you can preach.
well, we
And
can
the
put
dog
Racine on the
preaching.
program now.
And Racine is preach. Just make sure she keeps her shoes on.
Well, we'll talk about that because Racine won Pastor of the Year one year.
I remember.
That's right.
We'll talk about
That's
that
right.
too.
Look at
We're
God.
gonna put that to work.
We'll talk
But
about that.
I'm so glad to say that we do have a full program. It's going to be an hour. We want everybody to come out. It's at 9 a.m. on Sunday. That's May 27th.
Did you say 9 a.m.?
I'll be
9
there.
a.m.
Yeah, some people just be coming in, so just
you
keep your
can catch
clothes
the
on.
early
Come on
ride.
down.
You can come
Come
in.
straight from the club. How about that?
Right.
Come on in.
Look,
Catch
you
the
look
early
at
rides.
Maybe breakfast first, maybe? Okay.
If you bring it, we'll have it.
Yes.
Okay.
Pastor
We'll
got
have
it
juice
right.
and water for them.
Right,
You
but
bring it, we'll have it.
Gotcha,
we have Pastor Kenneth King, who's going to give us a history. We have Bishop Rainey Cheeks, who's going to do libations for us and honor the ancestors. We have Reverend Peter Simmons Sy that's going to give us a prayer, and then we have some ways to include all the pastors or some of the affirming pastors to give some words of encouragement. So Pastor Darren Phelps, who is here tonight, Pastor Aaron Wade, Pastor Abena McCrae Peters, Pastor Mark James, and myself. Now we don't have all day, so we only gonna give a word for 5 minutes.
1 hour, that's not enough time.
We're gonna give a word for 5 minutes.
It's a little more than that.
And then we have the Unity Fellowship Church DC drummers that will be coming, ELC Mime Team, but we have a special choir also. Deirdre Gray and the Love Choir will also sing and give us music. So we have a program that will offer everybody something, and we have all the churches that are represented. Anybody's church that's not represented, come out and know that you are represented as soon as you sit in the seat.
And this is this going to be held at the host
Yes.
hotel?
Yes,
That's the
exactly.
Hyatt.
Yes,
year, right?
Grand
Right.
Hyatt.
Yes. Okay.
When I tell you that line, can you
Earl
bring
Folks
that
has
flyer
just
back up?
joined us.
Yeah, let's bring the
Can you
flyer
bring
back
that flyer
up.
back up?
Bring it back
Yeah, I
up.
missed the flyer.
Can we bring the
Bring
flyer
it
back
back
up,
up.
Jacob?
Earl Folks, the president of Black Pride, is on Facebook.
Hey, Earl.
Hi,
Hey,
Earl.
Earl.
When I tell you that I have had an opportunity to meet and know each and every last single one of those people on the bottom of this flyer, and when I tell you that each and every single one of them are absolutely amazing,
Absolutely.
this is an event not to miss.
Amen.
It is.
Okay.
Amen.
So
Amen.
so what's the objective? And you talked about just feeding that desire to still celebrate their faith. When at the Pride event. What's the objective?
Let me say, oftentimes persons are struggling. People are dealing with inner homophobia, and people are feeling marginalized and ousted from the church, but they come to Pride because there's still something in them says, I want to be authentic. I want to enjoy who God has created me to be. And so we want them to bring that to the church. And so with that, we understand that there's a lot of bad theology out there today. We understand that there's a lot of doctrinal error, and that has been planted in people all across the globe.
That's right.
However, However, we, the pastors who will be talking and the persons who will be there leading, will be giving the message that, God loves you, God created you in God's own image and God's own likeness. You've been fearfully and wonderfully made, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's right.
And
that's
so
right.
that's what
But
we're going to do.
let's talk about that. I mean, because that's one of the reasons why we did this issue in November was because I think there's a movement going on around same gender loving people, whatever you want to label us, are saying, okay, I don't need to go to a spiritual home that doesn't affirm who I am in my totality.
Yes.
And so now we're creating our own.
Absolutely.
Well,
so there's a movement.
I think the movement's been happening, though, because I remember when I was 19, coming out of high school, I joined Inner Light Unity Fellowship Church, and I'm 39. So that was over something. So the movement's been happening, and the emerging of the different churches. It's been absolutely interesting and amazing to know that we live in the nation's capital and we have choices.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about what you're doing.
So a couple of things, if I could just go back to two, I think, important things, and Bishop was leaning on a couple of things. One, there's a lot of folks that have not reconciled their sexual identity and their spirituality.
Yes. Which is why we got the mental health issue.
And there is a coming out process, right? And the church is culpable, and I say the church, no disrespect to my brothers and sisters who have other forms of religion or faith-based institutions, but what we have found is that from back in the days of Sylvester, right? From back in the days of when we would be in the club, we stayed in the club until the last song was played because there was always a spiritual theme in that song that we twirled and we snapped and we kicked because it helped us to heal from whatever was happening.
Especially Frankie Knuckles. He was a spiritual guy.
And so, absolutely. So listen, and myself included, right? I've been in that. And so what we need to do a better job in is those of us who are not just affirming churches, but inclusive churches. Yes. There is a stark difference. There are plenty churches who are what I call the don't ask, don't tell. Right. We won't beat you up. We won't call you to hell, but we won't invite you to the table. We won't serve you. We won't elevate your gifts. And that's problematic still.
It is.
Because that's still causing us to be quiet and move into the place. So I also want to offer a space that when people come, they are also coming out. They're coming to the realities that, hey, there are women in leadership, there are lesbian leadership, there are women who are expressing themselves, the gender identity, men, all the same, you see? And so then we can deal with our spirituality, but we've not done a good job in our sexuality. So now we're asking you to deal with your spirituality. So whether you are Muslim, whether you are Jewish or whatever you are, Hindu. Now we are Christian based, those of us that are here, but we are also inclusive. So if people come to us and they have other thought processes, they're still welcome to the table.
I want to add that it's not an oxymoron to be gay and to be Christian.
That's right.
I love you.
Can you say that again? Say that again.
I love you, Bishop.
Wait a minute, Bishop.
That's right.
Say that again, Bishop. Say that again, Bishop.
It is not an oxymoron to be gay and to be Christian.
Okay, y'all.
Come on.
Bam! So here was my question.
Or queer,
Here was my question that was burning in my. I had a burning desire.
Now, Racine,
thank you,
better.
Desmond. Thank you, Kenya,
that.
and thank you, Michael, for just joining us on Facebook Live. But I'd like you to please speak to those who have the mindset of every time I invite them to what I call an affirming church, they always say, I don't want to go to that gay church.
And they gay themselves, right? They're gay.
And they're gay.
Right,
and this is always coming from somebody who's an LGBTQ person in the community. So please address that. When they say,
so Racine, you have been to Bethel and Empowerment Temple. Empowerment word. Liberation. I done jacked up your church. I'm sorry.
Jamal Bryant.
Hey, it's okay. Listen, we're going to work that in the name of the Lord, especially everything is on tape.
We got to get the churches right, identified properly.
So very seriously, right? What I believe that people need to do their due diligence and find that just because you had one experience in one church does not mean that we're all the same.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Bethel is a Pentecostal social justice, church. We're inclusive, we're radical, we're disciples of Christ, we are T-Fam, we're a lot of different things, right, all in one. But Racine, as I've shared with you and others, there are gay churches. There are places where you can go where all you will hear is gay messages.
Really?
Absolutely. There are places where you can go, and there are people who need that, right? But then there are people who need other things. They need to be other places that are not just about gay.
True. That's right.
It's the truth.
Because I do want to say, in Empowerment Literacy Cathedral, I actually had to learn that because I was very shocked and surprised that gay folks did not want to come to what they were labeling as a gay church.
That's right.
And I had to tell people, well, first of all, we are God's people, and this is God's church. This is God's house. And just because there's a gay leader does not make it a gay church.
That's right.
This is a church for all people. And so oftentimes I believe that people with their inner homophobia or I guess being out in the club but not being out everywhere else, they don't want to come to church and let people see them or have to deal with whatever's going on the inside. Because we do a lot of work in the community. We're a Justice Church as well. We're affiliated with Association of Welcome Affirming Baptists as well as UCC, MCC.
Right.
And so therefore, this is not just a gay church. And so people need to stop labeling just because a leader may be same-gender loving, let me change that, or transgender, does not make it just a church for gay people. We have heterosexual folks in the church,
And that
too.
was my other question.
And so, people
yeah.
can't say that this is a gay church. And so I think there's something on the inside going on that's hindering them from being able to come in and sit under a gay leader who is exactly the same as them. When you talk about orientation or gender expression, there's something that is hindering them. And I think, once again, it goes back to whatever that foundation is, that bad theology that they got, and the doctrinal error that they learned in those churches in their childhood years, or maybe even in the community.
Right.
So Jamil, one last thing, and the whole team, right? I've also encountered that people will feel more affirmed that is a correct grammar usage by going to a straight person that affirms them than someone who is same gender loving. I could preach the same message side by side from the same text, almost the same way,
and better.
But they feel that there's a level of
validation. It's
she's
like,
acting up.
Right.
See, I'm trying to behave myself because I've gotten myself in
No,
trouble.
and
Not that I'm worried about
for you to carry on.
right, because you already know.
Somebody said amen. Tracy Simpson said amen.
But
Listen.
here's where you.
But it's the truth.
It almost
It's the
seems
truth.
like the slave running back to the master's house.
But
when you try to
exactly.
free him.
Exactly.
Now,
Listen.
back to the master's house.
What did Harriet say? I would have
Exactly.
freed more if they had known what?
That they
were
were
slaves.
slaves.
Okay.
That's right.
Amen.
I do want to say that something that you said in reference to, I know for me, like I said, I was a member of.
We're supposed to look at the camera. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
I'm having a conversation.
That's right.
with
We're
you.
But you can look at the camera. Go ahead. Come on.
So I thought what you said was great. That there is a diversity.
Sure.
And there are some churches who in this collective that do focus on sermons that are directed to our particular community.
That's right.
I will say that I was a member of Inner Light Unity Fellowship Church when I first came out of high school, and then after a while. It served its purpose in my life for the season. It moved me from here to here. And then once there, I needed something more than that sermon. You see what I mean? And so I wound up moving outside of that and moving around. So I thought that was a great point that you brought up, that I think it is true. And I think it is true that, like you said, about churches that are inclusive. Somebody had made, my friend Brother L. Train had made a comment about a particular church in the city that I'm not going to call out a name, but we all know that the gays are there.
And did they get beat up? Because I know a couple.
Oh no, they like
go,
the
they
slave
get
from
beat
the
up.
pulpit.
But I mean,
And the kids still fly.
Can you
That's
tell
what I'm
us what
saying.
street they're on?
Rhode
We already
Island
know what
Avenue.
Okay.
We're going to set Great Amount Tribe.
Rhode Island Avenue.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I know. I have several friends who think that they're not in church unless they've been beat up.
Well,
It's like abusive wife.
Well, the thing is, the challenge is, and I get this from people who privately inbox me, right? They will say, well, this person is anointed and a pastor, so he must be or she must be right.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So,
That's
no,
right.
I mean, really. And
That
so
happens.
there is that real challenge and that tension. And let's also talk about the reality that there is a culture. There's a brunch club. There is also the social.
Right.
So if my friends are there, then I'm going to default to that. And there's a fashion show. So and then the last thing that I'm going to add on this piece is when you come to other churches, like our church is 10 years old, right? When you come to our churches, you're going to be seen. And some people are not only afraid to be identified, but they're afraid to work. They're afraid to be engaged.
Right.
They're afraid to be transparent. They're afraid to come in and really cry. You see, you can huck-a-buck and be in the pews and be up somewhere in the balcony and, have your cute little lime green suit on with your doily and blend in, but you're not going to be able to do that at Bethel.
That's
you
right.
See?
Right.
People are going to know, hey, you're family, and we're going to call you out. We may not try to get your number, but the reality is that cuteness doesn't last long.
Well, I have on lime green.
I was thinking that too.
That's why I was saying.
Well, I'm curious.
Look, leave me alone now. It's late.
And we don't have enough time to flush out this topic. We're going to have to spend more time on
Will
this.
Stein, by the way, thank you for joining, Will Stein.
Let's get online.
Will Stein says that particular church that we talked about.
I'm not commenting on all that. It's liabilities.
It's the Mecca for the gays.
Yes,
it's liabilities.
I saw that, Will.
I don't receive that. I think there's other Meccas for the gays.
Ooh, okay. But the one thing I was curious about, because I used to do some work with many of the black churches in the DC area when I was at Children's Hospital, and the one thing I'm curious about is how you work with them. How receptive are you? I mean, they've got so many different factions. You've got the Ministers' Council. You've got Wednesday Clergy. Are they receptive?
That's interesting that you would say that. For the first time today, since I've been in the district, I went to a minister's clergy meeting, and it was interesting.
I bet they didn't let you speak because the women can't speak.
Well, no, they did have some women saying a couple of things. Right. However, I was just an observer. I wasn't there to, be on program. But I will say, for the most part, my credentials have opened doors for me because I'm a former chaplain with hospice, and so I have a doctorate in ministry and a master's, and also lots of experience in working in chaplaincy. So those things have opened.
Bam! Get you some. How you doing?
Those things have opened doors for me. So I can't say that that's my experience. However, when people do start having conversations with you, and sometimes I will say, well, my wife's this, my wife that. Then you get the raised eyebrow, you get the looks or whatever. But normally that's not the case.
Gotcha.
I will say that just has not been my experience.
Yeah, and so just to piggyback on that, I think one of the strategies that's worked for us, because we're right in the heart of the city, right, and we own property in DC.
Gotcha.
So and
speak to that. Say what you say. You own property.
Yeah, we own property, and the Lord has blessed us tremendously.
Yes.
And part of that is that we leverage that, and so when I walk into a city council meeting or if there's an education council, whatever it is, I'm not intimidated or ashamed of who I am. So people who are connected to me, that are assigned to the ministry, whatever it is, they need a leader who's going to be able to walk through those places. So the ward, the WIN networks, the other DC Vote, the other places that we show up, we're not just showing up for HIV. We're showing up for housing. We're showing up for crime prevention. We're showing up for our trans and our gender non-conforming brothers and sisters, our bisexual brothers and sisters. We're showing up for our youth. We're showing up for education, right? There's a plethora of things in our platform. And so then that says, listen, everyone that comes into our congregation, and I certainly can speak for Bethel, there should be at least 5 of their needs that are being met at our church, which is outside of the huckabuck that happens on Sunday morning.
Gotcha.
Well, let me add also that I'm working with the Poor People's Campaign, which most people have seen that.
Yes.
We actually hosted a town hall.
That's right.
That didn't have anything, not really to do with LGBT people, but that is a part of the platform, which Bishop Barber is talking about. But today, I was blessed to be added as one of the tri-chairs for the DC Poor People's Campaign, as well as I'm on the Faith Committee. And so when I go out to the rally and to the state capitol to protest and all those things, they don't care if you're gay. They don't care if you're black. They don't care anything. They just want to know, are you for these issues and can you help us to move the country towards a moral revival?
Right.
And so that is those type of
it's a progressive. It's a progressive.
It is.
Thank you for everybody on Facebook.
And Racine, the church folk have sent me hate mail,
Yeah.
They have come into our
let's
church.
clarify that. When you say church folk, what church folk?
Oh, they have from their congregations, or they're a pastor of so and so somewhere. But it's
Okay.
funny, they watch us online and then send
And they
me
send all
something.
of us the same letter
They'll
one
send
time.
me a
Really?
hate mail. They've come into the
yeah.
church
Yeah,
to
I
try
saw
to
that
disrupt
letter.
church.
Yeah, everybody
You
got
know,
that
I mean, so listen, hey, this is not for the faint at heart. You have to be
Definitely
committed
not.
and know
Gotcha,
that
gotcha.
God has called you to do this.
Now,
you know?
I
is
so
there-
wish
is-
I so wish we had more time though, because
We're
I
gonna-
really
we're
wanted
gonna-
to.
we're gonna
Because
do a
I
bigger show on
really
this.
want people to like. I know both of you all's history, and I think that you know what I mean. And
You don't know what you know. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
but to know your history, it speaks to that you walked into this ministry understanding already
Sure.
what was happening
Sure.
in the black church.
Sure.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
especially, you know, I mean, it's. So I
And,
really wish we had time for
and
people
we
to know.
did a profile on Bishop Abrams a few years ago
Yeah.
about
Yes.
you know the trials that you had out in Detroit, and we'll talk about that. We've got to bring everyone back for
Yes.
a bigger show. The one question I had is, and we got just a few minutes left, is so like you have collectives and groups of different ministries, like we mentioned, Ministers Council and Wednesday Clergy. Is there a such group of the affirming churches?
Oh, sure.
You know,
Sure.
yes, I would say we do get together, but I don't believe, or not that I know of here, that it's been established that we have a regular meeting once a week where all the pastors
Okay.
come together.
Sounds like something we need to do.
Yes, I've thought about that so many times because I felt like coming from, that's my background that I came from. I was a secretary for the Detroit Pastors Group, and it was an activist group. They were about education, would go down to the city council, make lots of noise, not be afraid, you know, and
Right.
expect some things to be done. So I believe we have the capacity with the pastors that we have here to make that happen. I just believe that, you know, the season needed to come. And now that we're in the season where I believe the Holy Spirit is shifting some mindsets and some spirits and hearts,
Gotcha.
I believe that we can cause that to come
All
together.
right, and this
We-
event looks like an opportunity to initiate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was
Absolutely.
going to give a shout out to
Hey,
Bishop
Joseph.
Cheeks because over the years,
Absolutely.
Yes.
he has been instrumental in bringing the affirming and inclusive
Yes.
pastors
Yes.
together.
Absolutely.
I certainly want to give a shout out to the
Yes.
Wileys who have retired.
Absolutely.
Yes,
They
the
certainly
Wileys.
have-
Wiley's up.
while they
love
are
the
not
Wileys.
out and gay, they
Right.
certainly were in
Affirming.
their time able, and there were
Yes.
several of us who were part of Covenant,
Oh, okay.
and we broke away.
Oh, I
But
love
I
them.
must
I love
say,
them. They
were
when there are
persecuted,
challenges,
too.
so Earlene has brought us together. There have been other things that have brought us together, but systematically we will find other pockets. Like we're part of the Fellowship Affirming Ministry, so our congregations are part of under Bishop Flunder,
Gotcha.
and we're also duly aligned with the Disciples of Christ. So we have sort of other pockets that we align
Things
ourselves
that
in.
things that I don't know about.
Right. So when you ask about the places where we are, we're there, but often we are the only person that's out and gay or a person of color
Absolutely.
that's doing this
Gotcha.
work.
Yes.
But collectively, the last thing that I want to add to there, and this is kudos to my brothers and sisters who are leading other inclusive churches in the city. They're often by vocational, and so
right, of course,
being able to do the job other than like someone else who that's their full-time job,
Right.
is quite different than you going to these meetings, doing these other things. You're bivocational.
Right.
And
That-
let
I
me
mean, it's-
drop
and we
something
praise
here.
God,
It's an
and we
endless-
Why
praise
is
God.
it
endless
that
job.
the affirming
Yeah.
church pastors who are openly gay or openly lesbian, open transgender, bisexual, queer questioning, why is it that we don't have the 1,000-member churches, the mega churches, and we don't get the 1,000-member salaries that those pastors
Well,
are getting?
that's I mean,
so I just wanted to drop that out
That's
there.
a whole.
That's a whole other
topic.
That's right.
Well,
That's
another
right.
2 hours.
And I'll give a shout to Bethel and say I love the people of Bethel, and I praise God for all of the expansion and the work that's going on. And so I honor God because again, everyone's in different spaces, right, and what they need. But
Well, we just got a
amen.
few minutes left, and I want to make sure everyone knows about that event. That's Sunday.
Yes, please, 9:00.
Sunday at 9 a.m.
And it's
at
a
Starting
free
at
event?
9.
We're
It's a-
starting at
starting
9,
at
so we
9.
want everybody to be there at 8:45.
Yeah,
So if you're
I'll be
in
there with my
town,
big hat on, turban at 8:30.
get your hot.
if you're in town for Black Pride, there's
Please.
a chance for you to still feed your faith.
Yes,
Fuel your
absolutely.
faith on the Sunday.
Come on in.
Absolutely.
At the host
Come on
hotel.
in.
And let me add, Empowerment Liberation Cathedral will still have worship at 1 o'clock. So I want to make sure folks know just because you show up at 9, don't mean that you don't need to show up at 1 p.m. in D.C. on North Capitol Street.
Gotcha,
bless
gotcha.
it.
Okay, well,
Well, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
having us.
Thank
Amen.
you.
And
And
a shout out to
we-
Bethel
awesome.
and all our
we're going to
family
have
and
to
friends.
do a
and
whole
Love you, yes,
month
sir.
on
Yeah.
faith in our community. And I would
Yes,
encourage
Love you,
everyone,
Anthony.
if you haven't seen,
Tracy.
get a copy of our November, December issue, and that's with Bishop Yvette Flunder on the
Yes.
cover. We've got a piece by
Yep.
Bishop Rainey Cheeks and by Kevin Taylor. He edited it. And Imam Daeed Abdullah also wrote a piece on re-educating Muslims around LGBT issues. So we want to thank everyone for joining us. Of course,
we want
thank
to
our guest, Bishop.
thank you, and thank you
for having
So
us.
we're gonna do this again.
And I do want to say that living your truth. It is the best thing that you can do is be yourself, because everybody else is already taken. And before we roll out, I know you're going to say your last comments.
Nope.
But when we do, Jacob, I want you to drop that suicide number again, please. It is extremely important. I want to push this. This is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and if you feel like that you need someone to talk to, this is a line that can help you with whatever needs that you may possibly have. So please.
And if I can share, just taking a pastoral privilege, that certainly reach out to the pastors that you can trust and and need some prayer and support, because you need both, and you need a good counselor, and you can't dance and shout away everything. Amen. And sometimes you may need to just sit down and talk to somebody and work.
All right, folks. So we got this topic is just too
and also reach out to
big.
Whitman Walker if you're uninsured and you need a place. And you please make sure you contact a safe space like Whitman Walker that fulfills all of your medical needs as well as dental.
All right. So we want to thank everybody. We're going to do this again, y'all. Thank you, and check out our YouTube page as well, and look out for the issue of Swerve Magazine. We've got the May issue featuring Mustang, and he was a church boy himself, and then also, of course, our December issue featuring Bishop Flunder. So thank you for joining us.
Yes.
See y'all at Pride, and then we'll see you next week.
See y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Listen, vision. DC's #1 recording studio.